Music is a great tool and element in film. Some of the best movies ever made use music. Great movies that do this are like The Lion King, Whiplash, I guess, yeah, like Synecdoche, New York, my favorite movie. Hearing a lot of different types of music growing up has really given me a lot of perspective and knowledge as to different ways you can use music in film, not just like in a conventional sense. You can have something like Stanley Kubrick using classical music over like scenes of violence. Chan-wook Park does the same thing, uses a lot of violence and has like classical music playing over on top of it. Or you can have something kind of like Spencer where it's like classical, or it's like very like Spencer has a setting where bourgeoisie, like, you know, royal family like stuff, and but like the soundtrack by Johnny Greenwood sounds something like Bitches Brew by like Miles Davis. Like that like it really complements it well, and it really makes me think like how music can be used in such a creative way and shit. Like, but despite my love for music in films, a lot of the time when I'm watching a film, I sometimes think to myself, oh, why is there this annoying sound in the background? And the reason I think this sometimes is because sometimes there is like annoying shit in the background that is kind of just doesn't need to be there. I do think a lot to myself. I'm like, I probably would enjoy this scene a lot more if there wasn't this stupid piano music in the background. My second favorite director of all time, Michael Haneke, when talking about his movie The Piano Teacher, said,
I'm of the opinion that film music has no place in movies because 99% of its function is to compensate for a deficit in the suspense or excitement. Emotions which are not created through the plot or action, the cinematography, or by the actors is then produced with a musical source underneath everything. That's why there is no music in my films, except for when it appears in the story.
I don't agree with this like 100% because like you could argue that makeup and lighting and other things that you use to accomplish a tone or something in a film is also the same as kind of like using music in the background. But I do get what he's saying when it comes to this, because there are so many movies that just will use music to manipulate the audience, to trick the audience into thinking there's more significance than there actually is in the scene. It's really easy to play one of your favorite songs in the movie so that you think that it's a good movie by association. You know, there's a lot of like, I was watching a Netflix show last night, and I won't say which one, but like there was literally like a part where they were just playing Travis Scott and it didn't fit the movie at all. It was just playing Travis Scott, and it feels like it was just thrown in there because like it was like either like they had the license rights to it and just thought fuck it, or like it was like on the director's like iPod or something, or the show creator's iPod. Like it doesn't really fit the tone of what the show is going for. But despite my disagreement with Haneke, it did make me think about how music is used in films, because then I became very critical every time I would hear music being used in films, and I always think in the back of my head, is this justified? Does this belong here? Should this be here? Ironically, Haneke has a lot of music in his films. It's just that all of the music that he uses is within the universe of the film itself. So it's never forced in and it's never just there. The only time he's ever broken this rule like 100% is with or like kind of 100, like debatable, is with Funny Games, where like, you know, it at the start of the movie it plays like a song by Naked City, but like aside from that, he's stuck to his rule. All the music exists within the universe, and even in Funny Games, like when they do use the song again later in the movie, it exists because a character put it on through a CD player. Something that I think is missing from a lot of films is having purpose and having music coincide and exist with the film in a way where it feels like it belongs, like that it is merged with the film in a way that isn't just crammed in. A good example is probably compare the new Tom Holland, like Spider-Man Homecoming, or whatever the one from years ago was. If you see like how the music is used in that, in just a random scene from that. And then look at like Sam Raimi's version from 2002 with Danny Elfman's score. You can really see a tremendous difference in the way that the music is used, because it seems like Danny Elfman was actually given like a storyboard and then he was writing the music to the storyboard, as opposed to the film being finished and then writing the score after and trying to time it in. I don't know if that's how Danny Elfman did it, but that's how it feels when I watch it. It feels like there's a lot of freedom in how the music is used, and it really belongs there. And it also sounds great as well. Another good example is a film I mentioned before, my third favorite film, The Lion King. When Simba comes home from being away and he comes back to Pride Rock, the music goes from like very triumphant comes down abruptly and goes to this very sad high note music. But it's like, you know, it's like so purposeful because it's like abrupt, because it's like this feeling of shock that Simba has, and like the music just like complements it well, and it feels so well done. I feel like The Lion King is like one of the perfect examples of using music in the most purposeful, best way possible. It's not just forced in. It's not, everything feels like it should belong, and everything feels so like written for the movie, which I just love. That's like my best. That's like the best way to use music in film, is like Lion King, honestly. I wish more movies used music to complement what's visually happening. I feel like a lot of movies just don't anymore. Like they just like they do the bare minimum. There isn't like enough there for it to exist together. Especially with big studio movies, like obviously like there's like stuff you can find where they use the music very well. It's not like cinema's dead. I'm not like, or like anything like hyperbolic like that. But with big studio movies, I just feel like the music's declining. So a recent movie that got me thinking more about like pointless music being played in the background was, or what made me want to make this video was like me watching The Lost Daughter on Netflix, and I was just like, there was like just so many instances where I was just like, I'd probably enjoy this scene if there wasn't this music in the background, because like not every scene, because obviously there's some parts where like the score has like a purpose to it. It's trying to communicate something, but there's like these little things where it just feels like a TV drama that like Channel 4 would make for like boomers and shit. And it was really bugging me. I was like, is this necessary? We don't need this in the background. The scene is fine without this stuff in the back. And I'll show an example.
They really put us through it, huh?
I thought you said you were pregnant with your first.
I am. What were your daughters like when they were little? Were they like this willful little creature?
Honestly, I can't remember much, actually.
Oh, no, you can't forget anything about your own children.
Is that your experience?
Sometimes a scene just doesn't need music at all. Even like M. Night back in the day with The Sixth Sense, when he was making good movies, even he knew this. Like,
it was a very important scene to me. I mean, it may be that, you know, that scene that takes you into another level of, you know, wherever you're going, you know, this journey that I'm going on as a storyteller, and writing that scene might have been the one that took me into a deeper place, you know, a culmination of all these things that I had laid in about her dad, about being a mom, and all these things, and the bumblebee pendant from the grandmother, and all comes together. I remember thinking, you know, you could score this, and then I was like, but why? You know, but why? It's there. And so that was a big step as a filmmaker as well.
You have one of my favorite films of all time, The Kid with the Bike, which has no music except for like a Beethoven score, but the Beethoven score is used only when like absolutely appropriate, and it just fits the film so well, and I love it because the emotional parts are already hard hitting as they are, like without music, and it just makes you feel so much overwhelming emotion, and then to have this like classical piece playing at the height of the moment and just like even reaching a little more, getting those emotions out of you, it's like really amazing, and it's like one of the most it did really work, The Kid with the Bike. I don't know about underrated, but like I feel like that film doesn't get talked about as much as it should. It's like an absolutely beautiful film, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching The Kid with the Bike. But I do like imagine to myself, what if in like the scenes where there's no music in The Kid with the Bike, what if you added like suspenseful music? What would the scene be like? And like it would just seem so silly. It would just be the worst thing ever if they added like music. But there's like so many films where like if there's like this silence in the background, they just don't want it there because they think people will get bored. Like too much silence is uncomfortable. But what's wrong with uncomfortable? I feel like a film is supposed to provoke something. It's not supposed to be just a passive enjoyment. It's supposed to make you feel something while you're watching it. And if silence makes you uncomfortable, then good. I think the film is doing that. And, you know, not every film that has silence is, like, good. Of course, that would be, you know. But, like, I just don't understand the point why there's this, like, criteria where you have to check mark and have a scene have, like, this just, like, noise in the background. Even, like, you know. I'd rather it just be, like, just what the characters can hear sometimes. I'm not saying that there's do or don'ts. Every film is different, and how you approach it is, you know, you approach it the best way possible, and if, you know, you add music in the background and it works, then it works. But that's fundamentally what I want the most, is, you know, for it to work. I don't want something that's just there because, you know, the director thinks it's supposed to be there because, like, some book they read says you have to have this and this and this. You know, a movie isn't a check mark. It's like, it's a collaborative project where you bounce ideas off of everyone working and do the best ideas. You don't just do what is expected. So I guess my conclusion to what I'm trying to say in this video is that films are supposed to make you feel something, and I just want like music to be there, to be purposeful, and to, you know, make you feel something. And Michael Haneke, just like leave it to him to talk about in his own words of what a film should be.
Ja, natürlich versuche ich, also sind meine Filme sicher eine Reaktion auf das Kino, so wie es sich heute in 95% der Produktion geriert. Und natürlich versuche ich dann Wege zu finden, die Geschichten auf eine Weise zu erzählen, die nicht abgebraucht ist. Aber dieser Prozess ist, glaube ich, findet vorher statt. Also ich stelle mich jetzt nicht hin und sage, ich muss eine Geschichte so erzählen, dass sie um jeden Preis anders ist wie eine Mainstream-Dramaturgie, sondern die Geschichte, die ich erzählen will, handelt von Themen oder Problemen, bei denen es eine Lüge wäre, vorzugeben, man wüsste Antworten. Auch die großen Probleme, die die Menschheit bewegen, darauf gab es leider noch nie Antworten, sonst wären die Dinge schon gelöst. Es lebt nur das Mainstream-Kino von der frommen Lüge, dass sie lösbar sind. Und das ist, wenn man Film als Ware ansieht und als Konsumprodukt, ist es auch in Ordnung, weil die Leute zahlen ja dafür, dass sie wieder beruhigt nach Hause gehen können. Ich glaube, dass Kunst nicht die Aufgabe hat, die Leute zu beruhigen, sondern und auch nicht die Aufgabe hat, Antworten zu geben auf die Fragen, sondern die Fragen so zu stellen, dass jeder selber sich angeregt fühlt, sich mit den Problemen auseinanderzusetzen. Das macht ja die Literatur auch, die ernsthafte Literatur würde ja kein Autor wie das wagen, zu behaupten, er hätte Antworten auf die großen grundlegenden Fragen.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone that follows my art page, and I appreciate everyone that made it this far through the video and like listened to what I had to say. I'm hoping to do more of these because I love films, and I feel like I'm striking up the confidence to talk about things I'm passionate about, because I'd rather be doing things which I love as opposed to things I hate. And one of the things I love on this earth is watching movies. They're a real they're like one of the best art forms on this planet to me, and I would enjoy being able to talk about them more. So if you like what I said, please subscribe or don't. And follow me on Instagram. I'm at like Jack N Richards. I post art I do. That's about it. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.